Holy moly, that is some enormous current. Can you imagine the current? Burning up again. That was terrifying, but at the same time, so cool. Hey there, fellows. You certainly recognize this motor that we made out of 50 cordless drills. We made them into one enormous electric motor. And here we have a car that is ready to accept it. So this enormous engine will be fitted to the car that was powered by all of those chainsaws, though there weren't quite as many of them. But from here, this engine has already been started. The shakedown went pretty well, but we still have to do a bit of fine-tuning to get it to the full 107%. And also we want to make a few alterations to the car. Looks like we have our work laid out for us. So finalize everything, marry the two, and go for a drive. And let's get stuck right into it. You want to cut right through here? We want to lower the roof by 12 centimeters. We've marked everything up, time for some cutting. So the plan is to reinstall the roof at a specific angle, and at a certain height for a stylish look. That's the main thing we're going for here, style and aesthetics. Okay, let's get back to work. So we are currently working on a lodgement, or the drills to mount them even more securely, prevent them from moving, and add an extra measure of durability. The second half of the pipe will hold them in place, firmly securing them and making sure that they're not susceptible to getting twisted. We have fabricated the first reinforced holster that's going to tightly wrap around the drills. They're now firmly encased. Now it's just a matter of making cutouts for the belts. Then it's test fitting, tensioning, perhaps we'll do some more reinforcement. And then we'll continue work towards fitting everything to our improvised frame. We won't be going for smooth thrust modulation. Instead, it'll just be essentially hot-wired, for more efficiency and reliability. There was a lot of good advice in the comments. One idea that we liked in particular involved using optocouplers, but we had some discussions and decided to go the simple route. We very well might keep going through transistors, and they're quite expensive. In the end, we've decided to hot-wire the whole thing. Now we add some more wires, extend them, tie everything into a bundle, and we should have a working solution. After a test startup on the bench, we realized that durability is lacking. There's definitely not enough to contain the power of those 50 cordless drills. And so we're revising the engine layout. This is what we have in mind. This setup includes some additional running rollers that will first of all prevent the belts from slipping, and second will make for a more rigid assembly. That's also going to be contributed to by us adding steel mounts for every one of the cordless drills. We're about to cut off the mounts that we had on before and fit the modular sort of holsters that are going to contain these cordless drills. We are currently trimming the A-pillars and are preparing to bend them to match the roofline, or a more sort of organic look. We don't want this to look ghetto. So look here, guys. Here we have our elongated Lada that we fitted the V16 to. This time it's running an electric motor comprised of 50 cordless drills. To get everything to fit, we had to considerably extend the front end, but we decided to go even further, to make this thing even more stylish than it already was. Give the car a makeover. You'll notice that we have lowered the roofline for an even more epic and stylish look. Yeah, this looks the business. Perhaps something else will come to mind in terms of what we can do. But in the meantime, this is where we are with this project. Add a bit of bog and some paint, and we should be golden. Okay, let's continue work on the car, and get the engine for it prepared as well. Let's carry on. The exterior is almost complete, and here's why we've done a wide-body conversion in the back. We are going with a dually setup. The reason being we need as much grip as we can get. We expect this engine to produce massive power. And in order to be able to put all of that power down, especially in the wintertime when there's snow all over the place, we've decided that a dually rear axle is the way to go. And we're going to be running at least 2 wheels with self-tappers. You'll see that the assembly process is almost complete. Now we just need to install the shaft, as well as the tensioners up here for the belts. And after that, we're going to fit the engine to the car. What a fun-looking thing this is. Let's finish the job and slap it into the car. As it often happens, we were looking to make some slight improvements, but we ended up fully overhauling this engine. This is where we're at, and we've fully redone it. There was really no other way to go about it. But hey, now the cordless drills are all hard-mounted. This has been a few weeks in the making, and unfortunately, we had to scrap the previous setup. The mounting and the tensioning had to be fully revised, and we still have a ton of work to do. But now we can be sure that the engine isn't going to tear itself apart, and that it will be able to handle the power of all 50 of these cordless drills. Okay, so assembly is complete, and before we install it, which we've actually begun to do, we decided to test it. Wires are connected, we're looking good. Okay, let's see how this functions. The switch for this is as reliable as can be, but we do need to try this out. Let's go. Look at that, it's turning over even. I'd even say quite well at that. It's not an enormous rev count, but it is adequate. It's alright. Speed setting 2. Okay, we've put all of the drills into speed setting 2. And now let's see what sort of speed, what the RPM is going to be with them in that setting. Let's go. Pretty good. And quite a bit more sparks. This is getting really hot. That is some serious current. But crucially, we've established that this thing works. Even though we didn't run it for too long, but it does work. That's all good and well, and the motor is definitely ready to be installed into this here car. And so I suggest we do just that. We've raised the engine by 40 centimeters, and we're going to connect it to the gearbox using square tubing. Also, the drills are situated quite high, which should make for more effective cooling at higher speeds. You will see that the assembly process is complete. This is the finished project. It looks kind of scary, but the important thing is that we're done. It's all looking good. And the time has come for some testing. The first steps will be made in here. But is it even going to drive? I don't know, let's find out. Oh, right, nice. Gearbox seems to work. Let me check and see if the brakes work. Are they with us? Yeah, I think we're good. Over here I've got this switch. Press it together to drive. Pull it away to switch the engine off. That's how it's supposed to work, but let's check and see. First gear, and has everybody gotten out of the way? That was terrifying, but at the same time, so cool. That was with the gearbox in first. First gear in the gearbox. Okay, let's back up then. And good thing this still has a working clutch. Okay, it has made its first steps. That's a good thing. And it goes pretty nicely, actually. Let's take this outside. Alright, the car is ready to be taken outside. I've got my switch. Better not forget about it, though. Here we go. And we are off. Maybe it'll stay in place without me holding it? Nice. Moving along. Didn't get that far. Oh man, that stinks. You can suffocate in there. Gotta repair the contact points. Oh well. The connection... It didn't occur to us that the connection isn't tight enough. And as a result, things are getting very hot. You saw the smoke, that says things are getting really warm. If the tape is melting. It is moving along confidently. This time we should do much better. Burning up again. But we have to take this outside. That's a burst cable. Holy moly, that is some enormous current. Can you imagine the current? Hold this down right there. Okay, now we should be good. And away we go. Holy cow. It is doing so much better. It is so much happier. What, did the driven wheels lose grip? Looks like they did. So I'm starting to realize there's a certain drawback. As soon as I made it outside, it's minus 30 outside and I don't have a heater. But then that can be remedied. This has to look pretty neat from the outside. But ultimately, it is moving. And quite nicely, too. We're scooting along. Okay, so the contact points are misbehaving. But then why wouldn't it drive? So look guys, we're running 48 cordless drills. First speed setting is 50, second is 22 Newton meters of torque. Or 37 and 16 foot-pounds respectively for all you Americans out there. Multiply that by 48 and you have a respectable figure. That's like 1,058 Newton meters of torque. That is amazing. Well, okay, not 1,058, 1,056 rather. There might be some parasitic losses due to friction or what have you. Should still leave us with 1,000 though, which is incredible. Not many gasoline engines will give you that much. But here, these are just cordless drills. And this is electric power. It's different from an internal combustion engine. This is just awesome. There is a lot going on in here, but what can you do? It is moving confidently in first, but it's pretty slow. We need to engage the second speed setting on the drills. And tighten the belts slightly because there is a bit of slip. When Vlad went for fourth, there was a bit of slip. We're getting a lot of attention. Check out the second floor. Here we go. Come on now. Terrific. Yeah, looks like the belts have some slack in them. Or they've kind of settled in. But there is a bit of slip, which is not ideal. There's some tightening and dialing in to do. But it should be great when we're done. There's enough juice in the batteries, which is good even though it's minus 30 degrees outside. They should have been quickly freezing, but as a matter of fact, they are holding up very well. That is just wonderful. So look here, guys, I was able to go for a drive, and it was bound to get moving, I mean, with a good 1,056 Newton meters or 779 foot-pounds. And I'm refraining from giving a horsepower figure. I'm sure there's someone out there who can work that one out. If you have an answer to that question, let us know in the comments down below for us to read. The fact of the matter is the car drives, but we've yet to fully tap into the potential of this engine. It will be subject to a bunch of testing. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. And that is it for this video. Catch you guys later.